This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
This show is brought to you by Pet King Brands, the makers of Zymox and Oratine.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails, garner great pet tips, and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Well, it is the Oh Behave Show, but it's also 9 Lives with Dr. Cat. What? Yeah, we're doing a dual podcast today. So you're going to find out more when Dr. Kathryn Primm and I return after this commercial break. So you guys know the drill. Sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
Pause up, everyone. Arden Moore here, the host of the Oh Behave Show. Raise your paw if you love frozen desserts. I know I do. And so do my canine trio of Bujo, Kona, and Emma. They drool with delight when offered this sweet treat. And now all dogs will have plenty to yap about. That's because Ben & Jerry's has just unleashed not 1, but 2 doggy desserts. Your dog can enjoy the Ponce Mix made with peanut butter and pretzel swirls, or Rosie's Batch made with pumpkin and mini cookies. Or put a little of both in their bowl. Yum, yum for the tum-tum. Now, when you treat yourself to a bowl of your favorite Ben & Jerry's ice cream, mine is the classic Cherry Garcia, your dogs can enjoy the Ponce Mix or Rosie's Batch or a blend of both. Do you know what time it is? Why, it's Ben & Jerry's time. I see happy Bujo, Kona, and Emma heading my way. Check out the Ben & Jerry's doggy desserts at benjerry.com. That's BenJerry.com. Pause up.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now, back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. We are airing this episode both on the Oh Behave Show and 9 Lives with Dr. Cat.
Hey, Arden.
Big pause up, Dr. Cat. We're doing dueling podcasts together. Awesome.
I know this is so exciting because every time Arden and I talk, we have a ton of fun, and we hope that our listeners will too. So today I kind of wanted to talk about some of the questions that I get from listeners and followers on social media and things about weird things that cats do. And Arden's kind of an expert too, and she's kind of meowvulous. So we're just going to jump right in. So, Arden, give me some questions that you've heard.
Yeah, and I just want everybody to know this is going to appear on both shows with 9 Lives with Dr. Cat and my show, Oh Behave, both on Pet Life Radio. Our poor producer, Mark Winter, is dueling recordings for both of them right now. Thank you, Mark. He is the surgeon of sound. But I think it's kind of cool. We have a veterinarian and a pet behavior consultant, and let's just dive in. There's a lot of questions we have about cats. And do you want me to just toss one out there and we can discuss it?
Well, I used to write a column for a website for cats, and they would take questions and they would pose them, and then I would write them up, and it was fun. And I wrote like 250 of them.
Well, that was for I Heart Cats. That's a
big
deal.
Yeah, so that was fun, and I remember the questions were really cool. Some of them were general, and some of them were super specific. But I remember one that was sort of fun, and I bet you think it's fun too. Why are calico cats always female?
Yeah, let's get into the science. We're going to talk chromosomes, aren't we?
Yes, we are. So I love telling these kinds of quirky fun facts to my clients in the exam room because, veterinary visits don't have to be all medicine. We can have a little fun too. So it is true that rarely do we find a calico cat that is male.
Right.
And all of the reason is because female cats are X chromosome XX.
Right.
And male cats are chromosome X and Y. And the calico color pattern, is found on the X chromosome. So if you think about a female cat being X and X, one of her X chromosomes is showing you one of those cool patches, whether it's the orange or the black, and the other one is showing the other one. But in a male cat with X and Y, only one of those actually gets to show itself. So
wait, when you're catting around, this kitty, may have more than one suitor, but I love that it's the female, the XX, that is the factor.
Yeah, but here's the coolest thing.
Okay.
It can happen that a male cat is a calico. It is rare, but there are some chromosomal abnormalities, if you want to call them that, where a male cat will have an extra copy of an X chromosome.
Wow.
In which case...
Is that a transgender cat?
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get into that.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. Okay.
You're so cutting edge. But yes, it kind of is because the male cat is XXY.
Wow.
So that's really cool because each of the X chromosomes that the male cat has can show those color patterns. And then they have the Y, which makes them male. So it can happen. I don't remember the statistics. I know it's quite rare. I've been a veterinarian for a really long time. We're not going to get into exactly how long, but, and I have only seen one.
Okay. Well, here's the deal too. Let's talk about the personalities of calicos. Years ago, I did have a calico, and everybody laugh out loud ahead. Guess what my cat's name was? You can guess.
Callie?
Yeah. But full name, Callie, my pally. But I remember Dr. Marty Becker, America's family vet. I love what he described. He described calicos as this. Calicos are like a box of chocolates. They're sweet on the outside and a little nuts on the inside. So Callie was like that. It took her forever to really feel comfortable around anybody that came into my house. All of a sudden, she would dash out of the room and you would see my bedspread moving, like this little mass moving, because she managed to get under the bedspread above the top sheet, and she would think no one could see her, but she was like a little mobile moving object. So I loved Callie, but they can be a little quirky, right?
Yeah, they can. And you know what? I don't really know about the true scientific link between coat color and personality, but anecdotally, I think pretty much anybody that works with a lot of cats would say that calico cats can be a little more aloof, perhaps a little more anxious. And I know we can all say for sure, each cat has their own personality. Correct. People that think it's just a cat, they're just crazy. It's just not that way.
Well, actually, on the opposite spectrum, if you will, yesterday, September 1st, was Ginger Cat Appreciation Day. I have two of them, Rusty and Casey. And again, the XX chromosome plays a role. And those are the tabbies that tend to be more male than female, right?
I have always heard that, but I could not find statistics to support that. But I saw a ginger kitten yesterday. In fact, I posted him all over my social media because he was so cute. And it's definitely a he, even though it's sometimes hard to tell in little kittens, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. I can't check under the hood and determine. That's not my expertise. But in my whole life, this is the first time I've ever had a pair of gingers, and they're very outgoing. Don't be insulted, cat lovers. They're dog-like a little bit. They both know how to walk on a leash, on a harness, ride a pet stroller, do silly tricks, and help me teach pet first aid. But with ginger cats, they come in different markings. They could be mackerel, striped, tick, spotted, their coats. But 5-to-1, there is usually they're boys, not girls, and the calicos are more girls than boys. That's kind of neat, though, don't you think? Because neither one is a breed; it's their color patterns.
I love it. So I've always thought that color code genetics was
Yeah.
fascinating. And so, like with horses have really intricate coat patterns. And the calico cat is another just kind of fascinating thing. I love to tell that story to my clients.
No. All right. Check. We did that one.
That leads me to another one that I think is
Okay.
interesting, because you said you think maybe calico cats can be a little quirky on the inside. So here's one. Why is my cat drawn to non-cat people? You know how that is. People come over to your house that are maybe allergic to cats or something.
Or they don't like cats.
Or don't like cats. So let's talk about why do you think that is?
Well, I've addressed this a lot in my cat background. For 8 years, I was the editor of Catnip through Tufts University, and I got to hang out with brainiacs like you. And I just updated a book called the Cat Behavior Answer Book. So we even addressed that in that book. And it's this way. If you're not really keen around cats or you have an allergy, you need to act a little animated when you're around a cat, because your instinct is to be still and not make eye contact and hope the cat will just ignore you. But let's get into the cat mind, the feline mystique, if you will. And they're like, oh, I'm definitely going over to that person because that person's showing great feline etiquette, not pushing themselves on me, not yapping at me. This is the person I'm going to hang out with. Wouldn't you agree, Dr. Cat?
I would. In fact, as a fear-free certified professional in my exam rooms, that is part of the strategy that we employ to make the cats feel safe. Is we don't stare at them and we try to be kind of sneaky. People at work say I'm like a ninja because I can listen to a cat's heart without the cat really realizing. Now, I do have to kind of crawl around a little bit, and get on the floor or put the cat in the window seat. But if you want a cat to come to you and feel comfortable, you cannot chase after the cat like you would a dog. So yeah, I think that's an awesome question. And
I want to do a shout out to you guys. Humbly, she's humble. She is the very first veterinarian on the planet to become certified as a fear-free pet professional. So that kudos to you, Dr. Primm, because that's a big accomplishment. And anybody that's lucky to have you as their veterinarian has got somebody that's always trying to learn more. And so just don't act animated around a cat if you're allergic or really don't get them. And do act animated, because it's kind of a kitty turnoff. I always tell people you got to give the kitty the finger. Now everybody's like, what? I know it's radio, but your index finger, if you extend it out and let the cat come to your finger and do a little cheek rub, that's like a kitty hello, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I love that. So, I did an interview for one of our veterinary magazines about how being fear-free has changed my practice culture and so on. And it just happened to be on a day where I saw almost all cats. I saw a lot of cats. Some days, a lot of dogs, some days, a lot of cats. But the whole day went by, all of my cat exams, all of my cat vaccines, sick cats, everything. And not a single cat hissed at me.
Nice. That's a good day, isn't it?
It is. And it didn't used to be.
Oh,
because sometimes you have to do things to cats as a veterinarian that they don't like. So I can be ninja and kind of sneak it in. And it has made the practice better and it's made my life better because I love cats. I don't want them to hiss at me.
No. I wish we lived closer. You would definitely be my veterinarian. I have a great veterinarian, though, Dr. Deborah Charles. She is a fear-free professional as well. I love her very much. But if we lived closer, I would love to have my cats and my dogs get some care from you.
Well, I wish we lived closer also. So here's another one that people ask a lot. Why does my cat ignore me? And, I've seen some funny things on the internet, something like cats have 36 facial muscles all to ignore you with or something like that. But I think that's a little bit of an insight into a cat personality. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're working the dog pleasing portion of our brains, I think, when we come to that posture, because dogs are really big on like me. I actually hear people say, my dog loves me. And I think my cat does too. And for people to think that a cat rocks their world is magnanimous. But cats are both prey and predator. And they are very good at being observant of what's going on before they act. They're not hasty in their decisions. They don't pop something in their mouth like a dog does and then says, uh-oh. So I think when you think a cat is ignoring you, I think they're just sizing up their environment using all their senses before they proceed.
I agree. But, I also think that part of it is how verbal and vocal we are.
Yes.
I think that cats don't use a lot of sound to communicate with one another. So if you haven't trained your cat to do a behavior like come when I call you, the cat doesn't see that as anything. I mean, I think they ignore you because they just think you're crazy, So I don't think it's just being a cat, like you said. So yes, I don't think your cat's ignoring you just to be aloof. Right. I think they're just being a cat, and our expectations of what that means may need to be reset.
Well, you brought up a good point about vocalizations, because my two cats, Casey and Rusty, will play and it's like they're being mimes. There's no sound. And that's a good indicator. If you hear that, that's not a good sign. But my cat, Casey, and I will have conversations. Hey, Casey, should we watch this show or that one? No. Because I think cats realize we're really not so great at body language interpretation, and they feel like they have to make sounds to communicate with us. So if you got a chatty cat, that's cool. But I think there are better studies of body language than we are.
I think so too. I've learned a lot about body language as a veterinarian and how important it is to be tuned in. And the average animal owner doesn't really know, unless their veterinarian or someone that they've worked with has brought it to their attention, that animals are always communicating.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't have words. But yeah, it's really a cool thing. There are some resources that I think are really cool on fearfreehappyhomes.com.
Thank you for bringing that
videos.
out. Yes.
Have you seen that? They have videos and drawings to show you what it's like. Rosetta Stone, right? To show
that's a
you
good
what
way of
your
putting
pet is telling you. And that's awesome because it makes you a better pet owner, I think.
Well, fearfreehappyhomes.com should be tattooed on your forearm. Just kidding. But it does have a lot of great resources, veterinarian approved. I actually write some of those articles, Fear Free Pets too. So I just think you need to get good information from good sources. And in all my Pet First Aid classes, I always share that link, Fear Free Happy Homes.
I love it too. I even print out some things from it to give to my actual clients because it's free and you can trust it.
So should we take a quick commercial break so we can pay for this show, you think?
Hey, I think we should. Okay, guys, we'll be right back.
All right.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. All Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Hey, pet pals, Arden Moore here. Is your dog or cat prone to ear infections? Does your pet resist having his ears cleaned when they're inflamed or irritated? Are you also concerned about the overuse of antibiotics? Help is here. Zymox ear care products offer soothing relief, and you'll love this part. They don't require the ear to be cleaned before you apply the drops. It's as easy as fill, rub, and done. That means less touching of those sensitive ears to help create a soothing, fear-free experience. And you only apply once a day. Here's another perk. Zymox gets its effectiveness from enzymes, not antibiotics. That means no side effects and no antibiotic resistance. You can find these veterinarian recommended products through your veterinarian, most pet specialty retailers, and online. And here's a real treat. Yeah, I did say the word treat. You can save 20% off any Zymox or Oratine product on Zymox.com. Just enter the code Arden20 at checkout. That's Arden20. To learn more, visit Zymox.com. That's ZYMOX.com. Pause up. Hey, pet pals, Arden Moore here. Got dog? Of course you do. Our friends at Carlson Pet Products have some great products to keep your dog happy and safe. They have a lineup of decorative and durable doorway gates. Hey, I got 2, and I love them. They keep my dogs, Kona and Emma, out of the 2 rooms where my cats' litter boxes are. My cats are able to slip in and out of the small opening of the gate when needed. I installed these gates in minutes. The gates are easy to use and match my decor. Learn more by dashing over to carlsonpetproducts.com today. You'll be glad you did.
Get 25% off your order plus free shipping using the promo code PETLIFE at carlsonpetproducts.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Marty Becker, and I'm proud to be part of Arden Moore's Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. We are doing a dual podcast. We are airing this episode both on the O Behave Show and 9 Lives with Dr. Cat. And Dr. Kathryn Primm and I are going through some quirky things that cats do. Let's learn about some more right now.
So Arden Moore and I are talking about quirky cat things and questions you might have had about why does my cat do this or that? And so I think here's another one that I hear a lot in my exam room. I kind of want to get your input on it, Arden.
Okay.
Why won't my cat eat canned food? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I am not a veterinarian. I am not a veterinary nutritionist. I don't play one on TV, but every issue of Catster, I do the nutrition column. So I get to talk to folks like you and board certified in nutrition too. And cats, just like people, have certain things that they like and they don't like. There is a lot of good moisture in canned food, but cats are obligate carnivores. Meat. That's what they thrive better on. So when it comes to feeding them, obviously you want to offer them a variety. Number one, because if they ever have to be at the veterinarian overnight or someplace boarded and they have to switch diets, a cat that has a more diverse palate is good. But when it comes to the canned food, it's a preference with the substrate or the texture of the foods. My cat, Mikey, is a senior cat. We feed our cats really high quality canned and dry food. And Mikey will eat any of the canned food unless it contains something shredded, like chicken. It could have pieces of fish in it, but if it's shredded, it's a no-no for his taste preference. That's my humble input. What's yours?
Well, so there's this cool book.
Okay.
I don't know if you've read it. I don't even remember who told me about it, but I think it was one of the cat gurus that I talked to or interview. And it's called The Behavior of the Domestic Cat. And I want to talk more about books, but this one is, let's see, it's Dr. Bradshaw. I don't think he's a veterinarian, but he did all these studies that looked at why cats do some of these interesting things. Now, it's not an easy read. It's very technical. It's all of his studies and everything, but it was fascinating to me. So his theory is that when kittens are being raised and reared, even during the time they are with their mothers, the things that they're exposed to can form their palate to a degree. And so some cats never get canned cat food until they are past the point where their brains are learning.
Oh, interesting.
And so they may not even see canned cat food as a food source. So I encourage everyone with kittens, offer them lots of different kinds of food.
Good.
Because at some point in their life, your veterinarian may say, gosh, your cat has kidney disease and needs to eat this special food, and it only comes in this kind or that kind, whatever. It puts you in the driver's seat a little bit more, and it's hard to change. Now, you can teach an old cat new tricks, but maybe not a new food.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, the diversity of textures and types of proteins early on will help them as they become adults. And I know that cats don't have a sweet tooth receptor. I wish I didn't have a sweet tooth receptor. So they do have certain things that are different than us, but aren't they more led by their nose toward attracted to food?
I think so. So this man really looked at all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
And it's super interesting. And yes, I think it's texture and odor, and cats definitely have preferences.
Oh, yeah.
So here's another cool thing he looked at, and another question. Why is my cat finicky?
Well, let's define finicky. To a cat, finicky may be I'm really acting cool and I'm not over exuberant. But to others, they're being a little finicky. So what's your take on that definition of the word finicky?
Well, so I think when my clients ask me about it, it's because maybe they chose a certain type of cat food and the cat just wouldn't eat it.
You're right.
And cats, as a rule, I think, really like new things, like new toys and puzzle toys and that kind of stuff. They like novel items, but possibly not novel food. And it can take several feedings for a cat to maybe recognize that something is food. But this book that I was telling you about that is kind of technical, he believes that cats need to rotate diets because in the wild, they may eat, I don't know, birds or crickets or whatever, and they will change up what they're eating in order to meet their own nutritional needs. So they actually know what they need.
Right. That's a really good point. Yeah, cool. I like that. Yeah, I like it. You've been doing your research.
I have. And this book is so fascinating. So yeah, that's another thing I tell my clients in the exam rooms. Did you know that your cat can do this? I mean, I just respect cats. So, okay. So here's another cool thing. And I don't remember what the question was that made me even think about this, but it's a cool thing. They did a study in which they fed cats. Cats were full, not at all hungry. And they introduced something that looked like a prey item, like a mouse or something like that. And the cats would still chase it and the cats would still prey on it. And so this man's theory is that preying is separate from hunger for cats.
Interesting.
And that's why they need to play and they need to chase things. And it's not just about food. It's about mental health to a degree.
Right. I mean, when you're a prey and a predator, your mindset, you're always out for the hunt, but you're always looking around. So you're not hunted. But I do think that has a lot of merit with cats because it's the chase. The chase is really stimulating their brain cells.
And I think that is an important role that we as cat lovers have to play in providing for that. So I know that you and I both really kind of like things that work a cat's brain and move a cat's body. So yeah, what can you recommend to the listeners?
Well, without doing a certain product, but I do like this product. I think another veterinarian, a friend of ours, Dr. Liz Bales, has created a whole line of food puzzles and things that are shaped like mice under Doc and Phoebe's brand. And I think cats do like food puzzles, and we do licky mats or scatter mats on occasion with our cats to work their noses and try to find the kibble hidden in there. So I think sometimes we can give the food bowl a break for a minute and try some other option at mealtime.
I agree. I actually give puzzle toys to my clients because I just think it just helps them start
to think. It's nice to watch them work. You can see the smoke coming out of their ears. Don't worry, folks. Their brain is not on fire. It's just figurative. But it's like, wow, I get to solve this. It's like, I enjoy doing crossword puzzles. This is a crossword puzzle for a cat. They don't need a pen.
And, some cats are by nature, like we mentioned, kind of anxious, but being active helps normalize their brain chemistry and helps them cope with anxiety and just helps them have an overall sense of well-being. And if we can do that for them as their guardians, then we're meeting all of their needs. It makes a better relationship, I think.
Yes, your sofa is saved, the litter box is used, they're purring, they're happy. We can do so many little vital things. We're sharing our home with them. And when they feel safe and content, it spills over to everybody.
I agree. So, okay, I've got a couple more questions that were sort of weird. Not difficult, but just sort of weird. Someone asked me, can my cat catch bed bugs? Do you know the answer to that?
I have no idea. I hope I never have to deal with that on a personal note, but go for it. You got the DVM after your name.
No, your cat cannot catch bed bugs.
Wow.
But I got to tell you, when I was a student, I was doing an externship as a student in a veterinary practice. And the seasoned technicians thought that it was delightful to put me on the phone when people called with quirky things like that. And so I will never forget it. I was a senior in vet school. And one of the technicians said, Kathryn, we have a phone call. Could you answer this question for this client? And I get on the phone unsuspecting, and the person on the other end says, because of an unfortunate accident, my cat has been exposed to human pubic lice.
Oh,
what do I do?
Wow.
I said, can you hold, please?
Yeah. Hold, please, while I laugh, and then I'll come back to you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I like how they said an unfortunate accident.
Yeah. And my mind was reeling, right? I mean, I just don't know. But
how did you answer?
The answer is that because it is a human louse, it doesn't live long term on a cat.
Okay.
So regular flea sprays, I know, itchy. Regular flea sprays will take care of that on a cat. But I am not a physician, and I cannot tell anyone how to get rid of human lice on themselves, but I can help their cat. And nowadays we have such excellent flea products,
right,
that last. So it's less of an issue than it was when I first got out of, or was a senior in vet school. But yeah, they were all laughing at me. They thought that was delightful.
But you have that nice voice tone that later you'll be laughing, but you were helping the cat, and that was paramount.
Well, I mean, that's what it's all about. But yeah, and it's a good story, right? Because now I do radio. Well,
my gosh,
this has just really been so much fun. It always is. And I knew I would have fun talking with you. Can you think of anything else that is just a burning question?
I just think sometimes people don't understand the tail talk. And they do use their tail as a mood barometer. And in classes, I will call my cat, Casey, the ginger boy, and I'll say to everybody, watch him hoist his tail lazily up in the air. And I bet 3, 2, 1, he will start twitching the top third. And he does it every time as he approaches me. And I said, that is a cat saying, you rock my world. So I do think it's important to pay attention to tail movements in cats, because the side to side, like a doggy wag, is a cat warning lash. Back off. So what do you think? Want to finish with the tail?
Oh, yeah. Let's finish with the tail.
Yeah, it's tail talk at the end.
Yeah. Why does my cat twitch his tail? Well, so sometimes I think that the lash is what people are asking about.
Yeah.
But you bring up a really good point in that Casey isn't lashing his tail. He's communicating something different. But in my job, I used to see the tail lash a lot more. And cats that are preying, that are hunting,
yes,
can twitch their tail when they're, in a predation stance.
Right.
And people have argued that seems like a bad idea, that the movement would catch the eye of the prey. But it's part of the thing that cats do. So it's not always a good thing for your cat to be twitching its tail. But if it's holding the tail up and twitching like Casey does, it's a good thing.
Yes. Yeah. The end. No.
And that brings us to the close of the tail, right? That's the end.
Yes. Wow, that was a lot of fun. I really appreciate doing a co-host on your show and my show, Oh Behave, so folks can listen to either show, because it's going to be the same. But it was very nice to team up with you, Dr. Kat.
Absolutely. And so I guess to all the Oh Behave listeners, check out 9 Lives with Dr. Kat, right? And for all the 9 Lives listeners, go check out Oh Behave.
And don't forget your dog show too.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Kat Gone to the Dogs. I'm just crazy animal.
No, you're crazy good. And I also want to salute our producer, Mark Winter. He's the executive producer of Pet Life Radio. We are the largest pet radio network on the planet, and that's thanks to him. So everybody, let's give a pause and applause to Mark Winter.
Yes, pause and applause is perfect. I always salute him.
Hey guys, it's a wrap. We just covered a lot of quirky cat traits with Dr. Kathryn Primm. You're going to be able to hear this on my show and 9 Lives with Dr. Kat. We want to do a shout out to our producer, Mark Winter. He is the surgeon of sound. He makes each and every one of our episodes sound great. So until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. All Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.